Alright guys, I'm going to try to do a in the bag for the first time. We'll see how it goes. First we'll start with my putters. So I putt with AGL Hemp Jones. I used the 2 green ones for normal putting and jump putts. And then I carry 2 white Hemp Jones. These ones are a little bit more gummy than the green ones. I tend to use these for longer runs where it's not a normal putting stance for me. Also, if I for some reason lose the green putters during the round, I'll tend to use these. They're about 175 to 176 grams. Next, this is kind of new to my bag. This is a Hemp Ponderosa, the understable putter for AGL with the Disc Golf Dude stamp on there. Also kind of flexible, really holds an ante. Heard it's good for forehand roller. Haven't used it for that yet, but lots of glide, good jump putting disc. Then I have, and I'm probably going to butcher it, Baobab disc, kind of throws like a Stego. Another AGL disc with a Disc Golf Dude Grow stamp on there. Usually use this so far, it seems, in really tight wooded holes. Really overstable. Throw a hard ante on it. It's going to be trusted to flex back and a good forehand upshot disc. Okay, next I'll go with drivers. Kind of new to my bag is a President's Cup 2017 S-Line TDX. Feels good for forehand and pretty good disc if I want to throw something on an ante or hyzer flip to an ante. I carry 2 CD3s. First one is with a Team Panda stamp on it, 175 grams. This is my go-to stable driver. Probably throw this the most out of all the discs in my bag. And then I also throw another S-Line CD3. This one's 167. I tend to want to throw this one if there's more tailwind, kind of push a little further with a little less weight. But it does tend to hyzer flip a little bit more with me with my arm speed than this one does. Next, I have 2 S-Line DDXs. I took these out of my bag for a while. Glad I put it back. It's really good for tight wooded courses where I need my disc to hyzer flip to straight. At least for this blue one here, about 175 grams. Probably say this is my second most thrown disc in my bag. Then I have another 175 S-Line DDX. If you compare the two, the yellow one is a little bit more flat, so this is the one I throw. If I want to throw a hard ante and have this flex out, or if I release flat pretty hard, this will ante on its own quite a bit. Starting to try to throw it forehand just because it feels good in the hand, but that's still kind of new for me as far as this one goes. Next, I have a European Open C-Line PD2. This is one of my go-to flex forehand discs. Or if I have a 350 foot shot that I need to go about 300 but then dump pretty hard. Definitely definitely one of my favorite forehand discs in my bag. This disc, haven't had it for much long. It's the Evolution Neoplastic Essence. Got an ace with it not that long ago. This is a very, very trusty fairway driver that will, thrown on a hyzer, will hyzer flip to straight. Still trying to learn how to use it so that I can get it for late turns. If you throw it flat, it'll turn kind of quick, at least based on my experience. Haven't tried forehanding it all that much, but definitely a very good disc to put in the bag if you want something that hyzer flips to flat. Lots of glide, 8.6, -2.1. Definitely recommend getting it. As you'll notice, I have 2 brands in my bag, Discmania and then AGL. Ambassador for them, and they're growing this year and have had a lot of new releases. This is one of their original ones. This is a Sycamore. Very straight flying fairway driver. I tend to use this if I want to throw a forehand any shot and I don't want it to come back at all. Definitely might get out of jail card if I have a bad shot in the woods and I just need to get back out in the open and not get too much flex or fade out of it. Alright, next I carry a bunch of different FDs. First we'll start with my FD1, Seattle Sounders logo on there. I tend to forget that this is in my bag, but when I remember, it's a very good straight flying disc, pretty stable. If I need to throw something flat and far or on a hyzer and hold it, I'll throw this, and I definitely can use this for under 300 flex anti-shots with this. Next, I have a Royal Rage FD2. This is kind of not something I'd necessarily grab a whole bunch, but it's a little bit more overstable than the FD I just showed you. Tends to be more of a forehand disc for me if I need something to go about 300 or less with a slight fade at the end. I carry 2 C-Line FD3s. First we'll go with this one. Just replaced a ace disc in my bag, so this one's still getting worked in a little bit. Definitely like this for flex shots, 300-ish feet. Also, right now, because I lost some PDXs, this one and that European Open PD2 are definitely my go-to overstable forehand drivers. And then new into my bag tonight, not even thrown yet, heard it's pretty stable and straight flyer. Got a new Discmania limited edition stamp at C-Line FD3. This one's 173 to 175 grams. I'm really looking forward to tossing this. First touches with it feels great for forehand in my hand already, and just this glow plastic feels great. All right, back to AGL. This by far is my favorite disc I've ever owned. I can trust it to pretty much do what I want. It is a AGL Magnolia with chain bang stamp on it. I kind of like the die on there by a buddy of mine. Had 2 aces on it in the last, well, they were less than 3 months apart this year. Really flat. Basically, I would compare it to an equivalent of a Buzz in my bag. If I want something super straight with a trusted fade at the end, this is what I go to. I have a backup. This is the same thing. This is a AGL Magnolia. It's just in the bag in case for some reason I lose this guy in a round. I've got this in a backup because I love this disc so much. I want to make sure that I have at least 2 in my bag at all times. New to my bag, but definitely earning its spot, would be a Glow C-Line MD4 Crescent Falcon 2 Discmania, full 180 grams. This is a very, very trusty throw flat, fade pretty hard right at the basket. I try to throw this 250 to 300 feet, and I know that it's going to be most of the time circles, edge, or closer. This was my MD4 I carried before I put the Crescent Falcon in my bag. Once again, kind of like the Magnolia, I want to make sure that I have multiples of some of these trusted mid-ranges. This is just kind of a backup now. I tend to maybe throw this one forehand more than the Crescent Falcon, but slowly using this one less and less, and it's just a backup in the bag just in case I need it. And then last but not least, lost one of this discs about a week ago, so I immediately bought it and replaced it because it's a staple in my bag. Is Discmania Eagle McMahon Razor Claw. If you want a disc that you can throw 200, 250 feet on a forehand, straight, with a great fade right to the basket, and it's going to sit as soon as it hits the ground, this is the disc you need to put in there. It's got the vapor plastic. I prefer this over the soft and hard Tactic plastic that they have right now. I think the vapor feels better in the hand, but that's just personal preference. This one's a little gummier than the one I had before, but I'm glad I have it in the bag. Probably eventually going to get a second one. This is one where I want to make sure I have a backup at all times, because sucked when I lost it in the middle of a round, didn't have it anymore. So quick shout out to AGL for always hooking me up with some sweet discs and becoming the company that makes my favorite disc in my bag, my most used disc. If you want any AGL stuff, make sure you go to the website agldisc.com. Use my code Mueller, MUELLER, AGL15, get you a 15% discount. Or if you just have any questions about any of the discs I own or want to know more about how I got into disc golf, hit me up. Follow me on Instagram at Disc Golf Growth, and go out there, chuck some plastic. Hope everybody's staying safe, social distancing, and grow the sport.